So I want to point this Bible verse out before I begin. Psalms 91, verse 10 and 11. No evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near you, your dwelling, for he shall give his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. Now, just like you see in the title, something very, very urgently, incredibly important has occurred. A Boston research lab has done gain of function research on the COVID virus, on the COVID SARS-2 virus. The specific lab that did this is named Boston University of National Emerging Infectious Viruses Lab. Let me make sure that I read that properly. Yes. That is the lab that created a new strain in a lab. They created this new strain of COVID. And how they did this was by taking the original Wuhan strain. They took it and then added the Omicron variant, protein spikes. Remember, this is a protein spiked virus. So they spliced the Omicron variant spike proteins into the original Wuhan, one of the original Wuhan strains. And what this has done, what we know for a fact from the clinical proven studies, is that the original strain had less than a 1% fatality rate. Less than 1% fatality rate. But in their own paper, in this lab's own paper, they have stated that now they have created a new strain that has an 80% fatality rate, people. 80%. Do you know how many deaths that is? You take the population of the world, which is 7 billion, over 7 billion people, and do the math. 80% of that. If this gets out. Now I want to point that out because one of the theories that exist is that this virus was initially leaked from the Wuhan lab. That is one of the theories that exist. That the coronavirus was leaked from the Wuhan lab, and that's how it came to be. Now this lab has created a much worse strain. But let me also point this out, which is very important. The reason the Wuhan lab, let me say this, the Wuhan lab was being funded by American interest. That's been a proven fact. There were millions of dollars of American interest monies that poured into the Wuhan lab. And the reason this was done so, because this is what's called gain of function research. Realize that. Gain of function research. And the reason this specific research was being done in the Wuhan labs is because it's supposed to be illegal in the United States, and yet this Boston lab has just done it. The Boston lab has done it. Let me tell you how they did it, how they got away with this crime. This is a crime. They did it under the guise of what's called enhanced potential pandemic pathogen research. That's the guise that they did it under. But this is, in fact, gain of function research, which is supposed to be illegal here in the United States. And as a matter of fact, it's illegal in many nations. That's why this research was happening in the Wuhan lab, because that's one of the few places that allows this type of stuff to happen. And the reason they were doing it over there is they learned how to turn these viruses into a bioweapon. That's what they do. And that's why it's illegal in most nations, because these things can be turned into a bioweapon. So if you take, and that's why also it's called gain of function. They add gain to the function of a virus, of a killing disease. They add gain to it to see what its potential is. And understand this, they have now, and this is done in an American lab where it's supposed to be illegal, and have turned a virus that had a less than 1% fatality rate and have now created and spliced and mutated it into a virus that now has an 80% fatality rate. How absolutely blind does anybody have to be to see what they're doing? There's many implications. I won't discuss the implications on here. All you have to do is put 2 and 2 together. So you know what they're doing. You know exactly what they're doing. That's why this type of research is illegal. Supposed to be illegal. Is because a virus can easily be turned into a weapon. Incredibly enough. And once again, I give you the name. This is not misinformation. Anybody can look this up for themselves. They have even released a paper. This is how I know this information. This was done by the Boston University of National Emerging Infectious Viruses Labs. That is the name of the research lab that created this new virus, this new strain. So if you take the theory, let's just say that, let's propose the theory that the first Wuhan virus, the first coronavirus, escaped from the Wuhan lab in China. How easily could that happen here in the United States? And instead of it being a less than 1% fatality rate, imagine an 80% fatality rate, people. You need to share this video with everybody, and contact all your elected officials and let them know how angered you are that this has occurred, and let them know their agenda will not succeed. That we have all the information. We know who are the responsible parties if something occurs, and that they themselves will be held responsible if they do nothing about this. Be sure to stay in the Word and remember this Bible verse, Psalms 91, verse 10 and 11. No evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near your dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. God bless.